netball, and you in particular, Liz Ellis. You've had a bit of a stoush with Ricky Stuart over the last week or so.
Stoush is building it up, Nick.
I like the word stoush. Bit of a melee, perhaps.
Yes.
So let's, just for a bit of context, let's have a look at a couple of the comments that have been made this week. And Ricky Stuart kicked it off by saying, well, you know, if I can't have tough conversations with my better players, I might as well coach netball. To which, not surprisingly, there was an outcry from the netball community and Liz Ellis. And then he says, well, publicity's publicity, as long as it's, you know, as long as you're spelling your name right. It's great publicity. So that says to me that maybe Ricky doesn't quite get it. What do you say to Ricky Stuart's later response?
Thanks, Ricky, for the publicity for the ladies. It's great. Now, look, he had to acknowledge that this had become an issue. And the first tweet actually was from Anne Sargent, who is the nicest woman in the world. And if you upset Anne, you've dug deep, right? So, and then we got on it because it's not so much like it. People go, oh, why are you offended by this? Get a life. It's actually just a build-up. It's paper cuts, over 1,000 little paper cuts that actually get to the point you go, do you know what? You have to stop. It's the 21st century. You have to stop making netball and women's sport a euphemism for being soft, right? You can't just have a throwaway line. And I know it's a throwaway line. And I know that Ricky Stuart and Paul Kent, in reporting it, they didn't wake up that morning and think, oh, we're going to take a pot shot at netball. Just like I didn't wake up Thursday morning and think I want to open a can of whoop-ass on Ricky Stuart. It's more that you actually react to what's in front of you. And when they have that throwaway line, I coached 2 little under-10s netball teams at Ballina Netball Association, the Seahorses and the Turtles. And I think I've got to stick up for them because the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. Wait, Fitzy, please. So I know you got your hands up. We'll get to you. So there's a couple of things. Firstly, I don't think that it was a proper apology that he made. But secondly, I didn't want an apology. All I wanted was for him to come out and say, do you know what? I've reflected. Poor choice of words, I won't do it again. He doesn't need to apologise, he just needs to acknowledge that he got it wrong.
At which point I want to offer Ricky Stuart some advice. Never, ever take on Liz Ellis in her sport. You can beat her in other sports occasionally, but I'm down 5-3 in the third set. I'm just holding on. You can't do it.
But also, I will say too that, you know, you just can't pretend, rugby league can't pretend that it doesn't have an issue with tough conversations with its athletes. When you've got one of its athletes, Jared Hayne, who it is acknowledged never got pulled up, never got told no, right? So to me, rugby league needs to probably look in its own backyard first before it starts to pretend that it's got a monopoly on tough conversations with athletes. Oh. Thank you. That's it. I'm out, Fitzy. Can you finish the show?
So that is your latest, and I'd suggest in a way that it's over to the NRL and perhaps Ricky Stuart to respond to that.
Well, perhaps. I know we've been told to wind it up. Perhaps some of the other coaches, the NRL coaches, could come out and say, actually, it's because I can whinge, right, and then I can be dismissed as, oh God, she's on a high horse again. But if one of his peers, I know, Fitzy, your horse is horrible. But if one of his peers came out and said, actually, mate, that's probably not right, then that's a whole...
Well, Nick McArdle just did. Nick McArdle just called on Ricky Stuart to apologise.
No,
well, that's not exactly what I did. Listen, we are going to get to a break. Speaking of NRL, we're going to talk to Brad Fittler